Most nursery rhymes have a dark meaning behind them. Which one blows your mind the most? One from my childhood that not many people seem to remember, maybe I just grew up in a cult without realizing, was this. Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's. I owe you 5 farthings, say the bells of St. Martin's. When will you pay me? Say the bells of Old Bailey. When I grow rich, say the bells of Shoreditch. When will that be? Say the bells of Stepney. How should I know? Says the great bell of Bow. Here comes the candle to light you to bed, and here comes the axeman to cut off your head. Chip, chop, chip, chop, the last man's dead. We would sing this in a large group. 2 people would form an archway with their hands and everyone else would process through it. At the words chip, chop, the people in the arch would start moving their arms up and down as people passed through. Whoever was caught between their arms on the word dead was out and would become part of another archway. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as 3 blind mice? This is a rhyme dedicated to Mary I's reign, also known as Bloody Mary. The 3 mice are believed to be a trio of Protestant bishops: Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Radley, and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, who conspired to overthrow Mary. They were obviously unsuccessful and were found out, and then burned at the stake for treason and heresy. It was mistakenly believed that she also blinded and dismembered them. As the rhyme goes, as if being burnt alive wasn't enough. There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I never liked how she gets closer to death as the rhyme goes on. Doesn't she die at the end? If I remember correctly, there was an old lady who swallowed a horse. She's dead, of course. You Are My Sunshine. Full original lyrics. A man whose love left him and the despair he was going through. The end implies he might have offed himself the other night, dear, but when I awoke, dear, so I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine. You'll never know, dear. Please don't take my sunshine away. You'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine. You'll never know, dear. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear. You have shattered all of my dreams. You are my sunshine. My mom used to sing part of this song the second bit to our cat, who was named Sunshine, all the time. The cat would always meow back after every pause. That cat lived to be 18 years old. Eventually though, she got so bad that she couldn't even move, and we had to put her down. I've never asked, but I get the feeling my mom probably sang that bit to her one last time. It makes me really sad to think about, honestly. I know a German lullaby which was used to explain to children why their parents weren't coming home after the war. Schlaf Kindlein, schlaf, sleep child, sleep. Disturbing part translates to, sleep child, sleep. I doubt it actually helped any child understand the situation. Rock-a-bye baby. What's a baby doing in a tree? And the baby falls, which is horrible. The hearse song was a nursery rhyme from the early 20th century. Cause you might be the next to die, and put you down about 6 feet deep. They put you into a wooden box, and cover you over with earth and rocks, until your coffin begins to leak. The worms crawl in. The worms play pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes. They eat the jelly between your toes. They eat your clothes. They crawl in skinny, and crawl out fat. Your teeth fall in and your eyes pop out. Your brains come trickling down your snout. Your skin as slimy as whipping cream. Watch out. You may be the next to die. Growing up early 80s, we'd all put our dukes fists in and sing little rhymes to determine who would be it for our form of tag bloody murder. I swear on my life, we sang, eeny, meeny, miny mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go, out goes you. I remember my mom yelling at us saying we were not allowed to sing it because it was racist. I've never seen her so angry. We never sang it again. Flash forward to my 20s when I learned that tiger used to be the N-word, and then my mom's banning of the song made so much sense. I don't know the history of the rhyme, but I am sure it does not have the most pleasant history. I've always learned it as Tiger too. Born in '82. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells, and cockle shells, and pretty maids all in a row. Found out a few years ago it was about Queen Mary of England and silver bells. Cockle shells are torture devices. I remember one from my childhood. It sounds better in German but goes, "Good evening, and good night, with roses adorned, with carnations covered, slip under the covers, early tomorrow, so God willing, you will wake once again." The part with the roses and carnations always reminded me of throwing flowers into the grave during funerals, and the last part implies that you might as well not wake up the next morning. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. I can't back this up, and this definitely isn't the most disturbing one on here, but I've always thought that it's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring, he went to bed, and he bumped his head, and he didn't get up in the morning. Was trying to teach kids about concussions. My mother, she butchered me. My father, he ate me. My sister, little Anne Marie, she gathered up the bones of me, tied them in a silken cloth, and placed them 'neath the juniper tree. Tweet. Tweet. What a beautiful bird am I. I'm very unsure of the origin of this one, but it makes me think of all those German fairy tales about famine, such as Hansel and Gretel. All around the town, some gave them white bread, and some gave them brown, and drummed them out of town, refers to the Acts of Union of 1707, when both English and Scottish parliaments decided to be one kingdom instead of two, and when he had beat him out, he beat him in again, he beat him 3 times over, his power to maintain. Jack and Jill. One of the most shocking theories behind the nursery rhyme comes from a village north of Somerset, known as Kilmersdon, in 1697. Rumor has it that 2 randy local residents hid their affair from their partners by romping up on the hill. The 2 love rats didn't get their fairy tale ending though, as the legend claims that Jack died from falling on a rock and Jill passed away during childbirth. I will just leave this here. Enjoy. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=bdmmj5wgb8c. Alouette is a popular French-Canadian children's song, about gleefully plucking the feathers from a lark. Alouette. Lark. Nice lark. Alouette. Je t'y plumerai. Lark. I will pluck you. Je t'y plumerai la dos. A la dos. I will pluck your back, a la queue, and your tail, a les pattes, and your legs, a les ailes, and your wings, a la queue, and your neck, a les yeux, and your eyes, a la bec, and your beak, a la tête, and your head. Alouette. Lark. Oh. I recently read that Bar Bar Black Sheep is about the English wool trade, which favored the rich. So the original last line was "and none for the little boy crying in the lane," which makes it a whole lot darker. I thought it was one for the little boy who lives down the lane. A German game kids play is tied to a song which is quite disturbing. It goes like this. Johnny Con, we're eating a body. Johnny Con, we are going to the corpse house. A body with be enough. And a good taste has it too. Do you hear? Do you hear? How the dead are mourning. If they will complain. All without knife. Without fork, without cutlery. What's the game? Sleeping Beauty was impregnated whilst in her slumber. Yep. And she only woke up after giving birth to one of the babies sucking on her thumb. Bumpety Bump Rider. If he falls, then he cries out. Should he fall into the pond, no one will find him soon. Bumpety Bump Rider. If he falls, then he cries out. Should he fall into the ditch, then the ravens will eat him. Should he fall in the swamp, then the rider goes. Splash. Always made me imagine how it must feel to be eaten by ravens in a ditch. Weird. This is from Mexico, so I will try to make an understandable translate. Marinero que che fu a la mar y mar. Para ver que podia very ver. Y lo unico que pudo very ver. Fu el fondo de la mar y mar. Basically talks about a marine that wanted to see more than just sea, but the only thing he could see was bottom of the sea. Was the bottom of the great blue sea. Hooray hooray wedding. The clock struck 12. The emperor is standing in his palace. As black as dirt, as white as a foal. The one that comes last shall be the death of something, someone. It's a game where kids form a circle and walk through a gate formed by two other kids by holding their hands together in the air, and you sing this. When the song ends, the two kids forming the gate put their hands down and the kid that is left between them is out of the game. I think it's weird how it begins happily and ends with referring to being buried and dying. Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush is about women prisoners being marched around a yard in Wakefield, UK prison, and other chores they were forced to do. Not really nursery rhyme, but a prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep when I think about it. It has really dark meaning where kid is not certain that she would wake up in the morning. Sometimes during the dark times I used to hum this before I fell asleep. I've always liked how Metallica used it in Enter Sandman. It was never specified that Humpty Dumpty was an egg. Humpty Dumpty is actually a cannon, so that begs the question, how do you get egg from cannon? Down by the river sail, 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 down by the river sail,